Hey guys, we're up to textbook example 5 with Nimbus curves. They're also known as cardioids, and their equation is r is equal to a plus or minus b of sine or cosine theta, or times sine or cosine theta. And key thing to understand is going back to our initial examples of a polar equation. If it's a sine cardioid, it's going to be symmetrical over the y-axis, and if it's a cosine cardioid, it's going to be symmetric over the x-axis. To draw a cardioid, we're just going to take a few simple points. So the first thing we're going to do is just a quick little table, and we're going to figure out a few theta points. 0, pi over 2, pi, and 3 pi over 2. That's more than enough. We need to calculate r. And let's see, so if we plug it in, r is equal to 3 minus 3 sine, in this case, 0. Remember, sine of 0 is 0, so you're just going to have a 3 left over. Then we got 3 minus 3 sine pi over 2. Sine of pi over 2 is 1, so that'd be 3 minus 3 is 0. 3 minus 3 sine pi. Sine of pi is 0, so that's going to be a 3. And then 3 minus 3 sine pi over 2. Pi over 2, sine of pi over 2 is negative 1, so that's going to end up being 3 plus 3, 6. Once you have these, you can just plot these in. So at 0 radians in the direction 0 east, right? We're 3 units away from the pole. In the direction north, or pi over 2, we are 0 units away from the pole. In the direction pi, we are 3 units away from the pole. Going south at 3 pi over 2, we are 6 units away from the pole, so we're going to go a little bit outside of our circles. You have to imagine that at 0, you're out here. And if it remained 3 units away from the pole from 0 to pi over 2, it would look like this, right? But it's not going to look like that. It's going to slowly come in like that. So as I'm going to pi over 2, I'm coming in. And now I have a radius of 0, but from pi over 2 to pi, I'm going to have to extend out to a radius of 3. From pi to 3 pi over 2, I have to extend farther than 3. So I start at 3, I'm going to end up 6 units away from the pole as I go. And then I'm 6 units away from the pole, but once I get back to the polar axis, back to 0, 360, I'm going to do that. So this is a cardioid. It looks like a heart. It's also known as a Nimbus curve. And that's it, 3 minus 3 sine theta. Next example 6, we'll do in the next video.